evening, everyone, and welcome to Startup Central. This is the first and only daily show in India dedicated to startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Avan Dabash. Well, let's start off the show by talking about the weekly funding meter as we decode the big funding deals that have taken place. Now, data by Venture Intelligence shows that there have been a total of 9 deals that have closed worth $79 million that have taken place in the last week. The notable deals have been Engineer.ai. You also have Magic Pin that raised significant amounts. There have been angel investments as well that have shown an increase, with 6 deals that have closed in the previous week. So Magic Pin raised close to $20 million. You also have Cropel, which raised close to $8 million, and Crop In Technology that has raised close to $8 million, and from the Bill Gates Foundation as well as Charité Ventures. Magic Pin, $20 million. It's a round led by Lightspeed US, and Engineer.ai has raised something like $29.5 million from Jungle Ventures and SoftBank's Deepcore. So those are some of the big deals that have taken place in the week gone by. In fact, let's bring on board Varatharajan and M from Venture Intelligence, joining in from Chennai live to discuss a little bit more about this. Great to have you with us on the Startup Central. To start off with, how would you describe, some of the big deals that have taken place in the week gone by, the big VC investments?
It's good to be on the show. And this week obviously saw close to 9 investments worth about $79 million, which is clearly an improvement over the 8 investments worth about $23 million in the previous week. But that's the most interesting part, is obviously the sectors in which these investments went into. So about 4 investments went into frontier sectors like artificial intelligence, agriculture, gaming, and IoT. So obviously the top investment led by SoftBank's AI incubator Deepcore into Engineer.ai, and as well as you mentioned, Bill Gates Foundation into Crop In Solutions. This is actually their second equity investment in India, and they made it along with Charité Ventures. What is also interesting is they've invested. Their first investment was also in the agri-tech space, which was Stellab Technologies.
All right, that's the take coming in. Now, are there any specific trends or any specific sectors that stand out? Because SAIF, we understand, has announced its first investment in the Internet of Things or the IoT space. What are the trends that you're seeing over there?
At Venture Intelligence, we did a short study in investments in IoT. And this is coming off from a broader trend of VC investments in the hardware space. The hardware space saw close to 42 investments in the last 2 years, and of which 27 investments were in the IoT space. And if you just compare it with the period of 2014 to 2016, right, which is considered as the peak for investment activity, that period only saw 12 investments. So clearly, investors are moving towards this space. So there's interest there. Now, if you look at the sectors within IoT, right, so largely it's been a very B2B play. So only 20% of IoT investments went into the consumer space. The remaining were obviously in industry. And the 3 industries which are grabbing the spotlight is logistics, where asset tracking and security is of importance. We're also seeing the manufacturing space, where you get systems to track energy consumptions and equipment maintenance, and also in the real estate space, where facilities management is seeing a lot of investments, where energy consumption and asset maintenance is also important. So these are the sectors which are seeing within the IoT space itself.
Okay, what about who are the leading VCs who are leading the charge in the IoT space? Is that an area that they're closely eyeing?
This is very early for this space. So you're seeing mostly seed and Series A investments. So what we are seeing is, we are seeing 3 groups of investors, who are leading the charge here. First is the deep tech focused investors, and you have seen a few of them raise deep tech focused funds in 2018. So the firm that's leading the charge there is Pi Ventures. They made 3 investments. The second group of investors are the sector focused investors. So I'm talking about omnivore capital and infused ventures. These are agriculture and energy focused investors, but they're also warming up to IoT investments there. The third group are the sector agnostic players like Axel, Axelar and Bloom Ventures, and obviously recently SAF as well, who are who are trying to enter into the deep tech space. So you're going to see more investments in this space as well.